Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty nifty news going on over here when it comes to the PlayStation 5 Pro and some potential actual fixes when it comes to the big PlayStation PSSR shimmering issue and the overall kind of just lackluster implementation of all the technology for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, we have a pretty kind of a fun thing to go talk about, some screen shares, and overall some good reviews, revisions on it. And this is actually kind of giving me a little bit of more brand new hope as well when it comes to the PlayStation 5 Pro. So you guys probably also know too as well, we made a video this week discussing the fact that Monster Hunter Wilds also has now officially confirmed Pro support. And although we still haven't seen a lot of long-term future game consoles coming out supporting this and improving this, I myself am still very excited for it, mainly because I'm sure they probably will. And once we kind of have this big PSSR AI integration working well and kind of people can seamlessly pick it up and make things perfect, I think this is actually going to make the PlayStation 5 Pro just a little smidgen bit more exciting. So to go talk about this, because some of the bigger companies out there have actually done a lot of deep diving and research, so I'm very excited to go and see this and talk about this. So if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. As well, if you guys are celebrating any holidays, or as well if you guys just got through Christmas, I hope you guys had a fantastic, lovely time, and I appreciate you guys all so much for hanging out. Quick little giveaway update too as well. We are content are very our drawn winner, so I'm gonna let you guys know whenever that is responded to, and we have a chance to address that. And as well, we also have a few more things lined up for future giveaways too as well. So I'll let you guys know if that's all proper and all good. I'll let you guys know probably the next 1 or 2 days as well. So subscribe if you guys are new, subscribe, the notifications on. We have all the affiliate links down below. We have the Twitters and Twitches as well. We may still have the giveaway links down below. I'll keep those on up just until it's all fully done, so keep that in mind. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. And let's go talk about the fact that the PS5 Pro might be going pretty good. Now, as you guys probably can go and tell from that mysterious black screen, where right now we've had a little bit more of a deep dive from Digital Foundry, which has been kind of doing some pretty good stuff when it comes to the games, trying to review the PlayStation 5 Pro. And although they've been very, very skeptical of it, I myself have tried to be it's been a little bit more skeptical, let's be honest. I definitely had a lot of critiques myself for the PS5 Pro. The shimmering issues and all that is kind of unacceptable. And the fact that it's now getting sorted and getting better is something we should probably go report on. So because I just did a little bit of a mini PlayStation 5 Pro review 2 days ago and did go and highlight that the shimmering issues were a big deal. And I do think a lot of people would agree. The shimmering is kind of unacceptable. It was not cool. And while the PlayStation main games, as I've mentioned in prior videos, have been good and future games will be phenomenal, if you have a third-party game, some of those are the games of the year. Think like Black Myth Wukong. If that game had shimmering, which it did, that kind of leads towards a lot of issues overall. Or things like Alan Wake, although it only has sold over 1 million copies, that still is potentially 1 million people like you guys who may have picked up the game or played the game, or at least might be interested in it. And of course, as well, if it's getting improved on the PS5 Pro, that would be a big seller of getting the PS5 Pro. So if it sucks, you're not going to want to buy the PS5 Pro. And, well, that's kind of what we talked about. But basically, over here, they had a chance to say that Remedy did go and at least fix, or at least put in a pretty good fix, pretty good roundup. And we even have pictures to show you guys in a second for Alan Wake 2 on the PS5 Pro. They also added things like a PSSR toggle, new 40 FPS modes as well, and all-around good vibes too as top of that. So basically, like I said, we'll show things in a second, but the article's been introduced saying Alan Wake 2 is a graphical showcase both on PC and consoles, which I'd agree on. So it's disappointing to see the game's PS5 Pro patch leave the game looking and running worse in some areas than on the base PS5. A lot of people aren't happy with that, myself included. Thankfully, developers Remedy have lived up to their name with a fix for the situation. A new PS5 Pro patch that adds in a toggle for the problematic PSSR upscaling, as well as also some other nice changes and additions, which I do believe is also them kind of fine-tuning the PSSR from what I saw when I was going through all this as well. So as we discussed in this week's their show, basically over here embedded below, if you guys want to creep on, you guys totally can kind of give them a little bit of credit for the research itself. I'll try to paraphrase, make it a little easy for you guys. The new patch is surprisingly comprehensive. So basically, Alan Wake itself is way nicer. They put a lot of effort, and this is what we're expecting. And I did expect this from, say, Silent Hill, from the Jedi Survivor, thing, as well as the PSSR toggle. So there's a new balanced graphics mode for users of 120 Hz displays that targets a 40 FPS frame rate on the PS5 Pro. The balanced mode is interesting as it combines the higher settings, including basically ray tracing, of the quality mode with the lower resolution of the performance mode. The new patch also purports to tweak settings across all modes to reduce noise, although, spoiler alert, it doesn't appear to work as we expect right now. So they've had a chance to test the new modes, and they're all good updates for the PS5 Pro owners, which is still good overall, and then improve the game's presentation overall, although some areas are still in need for improvement. But overall, they're still fixing stuff. It's getting better. Things are working better. Now, do I think this should have been like a day one easy patch and worked out well? Yes, but apparently maybe the tech is more in depth than we would have thought. Maybe, I'm not really sure. I really haven't understood why there's been so many issues with the PS5 Pro regardless. Although the AI does make sense, but we're using like upscaling and other stuff. I don't know, maybe they're trying to scheme the system a little bit too much. I'm not sure, but it still is an improvement. Like, so either way, it's still a win. So saying over here too, they're talking about how Oliver, one of the people on there, say basically reported saying that the mooted settings tweaks to performance mode don't appear to have been realized. Or realized. Whatever. If I got whatever. So in side-by-side comparisons between the launch and the current versions of the game, there is no visible differences in terms of foliage, shadow quality, draw and distance, and so on, and the image quality also seems to be similar. So if there are any tweaks that are presumably quite minor or affect areas other than what we've had a chance to go and test. Although, big thing to note, the performance has been improved, which I think is still nice. Even though there's a little bit of issues, maybe with like in terms of overall resolution on foliage, if the game is overall running better at a higher frame rate, I would still say this is a win and a dub, either way. Saying that the performance has been improved with around a 10% frame rate uptick in most of the challenging scenes they tested, bringing the game closer as well to a 60 FPS mode, which is very nice to see. So some things may not be like fine-tuned where it's like some crazy change up, although I wasn't really expecting that. One thing to note though is that if you do have that overall better performance rate, that does mean that something good is happening. And as well, we also once again had a chance to go see some other changes. So this is kind of like where the big stuff. So like that was like a small thing that's fine. That's like the graphics are going to change, the leaves aren't going to change that much. That's okay. But basically saying elsewhere, the new patch does deliver some meaningful changes and improvements. For example, the noise, and this is kind of like the shimmering issue, I would say. They're just calling it noise. They spotted in reflections have been reduced or eliminated. Big, suggesting changes to the denoiser algorithm you use here. Basically, maybe just assuming the AI is using a different implementation and basically utilizing the PSSR a little bit better. I don't know, at least in my opinion, I'm not the smartest when it comes to this stuff, just trying to, regurgitate the news out to you guys. So the roughness cut for reflections may have also been altered, with some rough surfaces like unpolished wood no longer exhibiting obvious reflections as they did in earlier versions. So basically saying they're cleaning up like the lighting, they're cleaning up the ray tracing, they're cleaning up the PSSR, and this is some good stuff. So the biggest change that comes with the additional of the PSSR toggle, which is becoming something of a trend for PS5 Pro patch titles, which I'm not the biggest fan of that as a toggle, although in theory, I mean, I'd rather have a toggle than it breaking, so that's okay, but still nice. So the PSSR's upscaling tended to be a bit better in motion, but suffered from some additional breakup and appeared less sharp in still shots. So you're still able to use the FSR2 upscaling instead if you wish. LOA 2 is far from the worst looking game with PSSR enabled, but the relatively low internal resolution of 864p being upscaled to 4K does make your choice of upscaler important. Basically saying that maybe like the PlayStation's upscaling may not be as good as other upscaling options, but as well, it is still apparently looking nice, and more so, I think it apparently seems like in motion might be good vibes too as well. So, and they're also saying too, they're actually recommending in terms of Digital Foundry, FSR over PSSR if you had to pick and choose. If you had to prioritize image quality in still shots, with the PSSR perhaps getting a slight nod in motion. So basically, they're trying to go and say, it's nice first and foremost, it's optional. This is a good improvement, no matter what. The fact that you want it or you don't, if there's shimmering issues, or you see motion issues, whatever it might be, having it optional is a win. Although it's weird these things are turning optional for the main selling point of the PS5 Pro, still is a dub. But as well, they're also trying to say too as well that with the optional versions of, say, the FSR, that kind of lets you go and pick and choose, which is also a dub. But as well, they're also even saying too as well, the overall quality does seem a little bit nicer, even if it's only more locked in on the emotion side. So you guys can have maybe a chance to go and kind of see some of these things over here too as well. And these are over in regards even with the PSSR as well. So you guys can kind of go and see everything looks a little bit nicer, looks a little bit better, more so like some reflections are looking a little bit more in depth, at least in my opinion. Kind of depends on what you want to go and see. Like there's certain things you can maybe say you like, maybe dislike. I'm not really entirely super sure. I personally think it looks a little bit better, but once again, you're kind of just looking at little small individual things, such as like railings or like the water effects or whatever. Maybe some people even prefer on the left side too as well. You never know. I mean, I can kind of see a lot of this stuff over here for the Pro on top of this, because I mean, I just see the shadows look a bit more realistic, just the gravel looks a bit better. These are very, very minute changes and probably hard to go and see. I think the outfit looks a bit better, the shadows look a bit more in-depth. Like, you can kind of go and tell it does look a little bit better on the current patch with the PSSR. Nothing super duper crazy, but you can kind of tell. Like, I mean, like, if you kind of glance, might be hard to see in the YouTube video. Like, I can kind of see, like, the shadow effects a little bit nicer, looks a little bit crystal clearer, like some of the blacks kind of pop a little bit more in terms of the black coloring and shadows. Like, I think it does look a little bit nicer overall. at least in my opinion, I think it looks kind of cool. It looks slightly better. It's still very, don't forget, this is quite literally a patch, a small update. So it's not going to be some crazy change up either way, but it is looking like they're trying to get their stuff together. They're calming down the shimmering, which I still think is like the biggest deal out here too as well. And it does kind of seem like the PSSR is also getting slightly better things. Also as well, with the 40 FPS balance is a worthwhile addition, and it gives you the hardware ray tracing from the quality mode at perceivably higher frame rates as well. 40 FPS is exactly midway between 30 and 60 in terms of milliseconds per frame, and this works well in their testing with the lot 40 FPS update. So this is also kind of a big deal. Like this is, I think, the win. This is where like the PS, like it's getting a little bit more normalized over here. So if you're curious to see the realistic ray tracing visuals of the quality mode, but don't want to sacrifice visual fluidity and input latency to do so, it's well worth experimenting with. Overall, the new patch leaves them with a good place. Kind of what they said in their article. Good place in the PS5 Pro, with 3 modes that are all reasonable choices. If you're not sure, then we suggest starting with the performance mode and then seeing how you go on. Basically saying like it's just adding more options, it's fine-tuning the stuff that's there, fixing some of the shimmering, and as well just kind of making things nice. Although there may be better options, such as like say some different types of AI upscalers, and maybe the baseline resolution is too low for it to be fully optimized, but still that's more of a game itself issue than the PSSR issue. Kind of, sort of, a little bit, depends how you kind of look at it. So basically, so you want to have the sharper image qualities, the quality modes available. If you want hardware ray tracing, then the balance mode is a good stout, and on top of that was some all-around good news. So I do want to go and say this is very nice to go and see. Now there is a little bit of like PlayStation 6 news, which I may go and save for a separate video because we're already 11 minutes on in. So if you guys want that, definitely subscribe with the notifications on, or get your, I guess, last minute giveaway entries on in case there's any rerolls, whatever. We're going to be doing some more giveaways all throughout 2025, so keep that in mind. All the affiliate links are down below if you guys want to check those on out, and I hope you guys had a fantastic holiday so far. I appreciate y'all for watching.